What's going on, guys? My name is D Anthony. I'm going to be making a lot of training videos. And again, I say training videos because it's just like a professional athlete. Do they need to train? Do they need to work out? Do they need to exercise? Yes, of course. If you don't have any level of training, any level of coaching, any level of, practice, you're absolutely doomed to fail. Now, in this type of business, it's a lot of emotional and psychological training that needs to be done on oneself and identifying oneself and what you can do to fix yourself so you can make money. It's not the markets, it's not your strategy, it's not your entry, it's not your exit, it's not any one of that. What's more important than all of those things combined, even though those things play a small role in the overall grand picture, the bigger issue is you. In the moment that you accept that fact and you deep dive and internalize what is really going on psychologically with yourself, is when you're going to have that mental and breakthrough and that mental clarity that you're looking for. I'm going to start off this video by saying one thing. The longer you take to fix the mistakes you're making, the more you're going to stress yourself out and the more accounts you're going to lose, the more money you're going to lose, and the more emotional pain and damage you're going to do to yourself as a trader. I'm one of the most realist trading coaches that is out there. And honestly, not to toot my own horn, if you don't feel that way, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But out of everyone that I've come across, especially on the social media space, they don't really give a fuck. What they care about is boasting and tooting their own horn when they make money and not identifying and trying to actually help people who are struggling and who are failing. However, as many hours and as much videos that I've put out and as much content that I make, some of you guys only see what you want to see. You do not see what you need to see. And what that means is you want to look to the strategy. You want to look to the entry. You want to look to the trade that works. However, you don't want to do any of the necessary steps or practices that are needed to actually make you consistent. You're ignoring the fact that you're oversized. You're ignoring the fact that you're over trading. You're ignoring the fact that you were up $200 today, and instead of calling it quits, you over traded and lost 500. You are ignoring the fact that you had no reason to technically enter or exit the losing trade. Excuse me. You had no technical reason to exit a winning trade other than the fact that you got so happy looking at the P&L on your screen being green, causing you to take profits too quickly, resulting in you chasing a trade later and giving back the little bit of money that you made. If I'm wrong on that statement, correct me in the comments below. But I don't feel that I'm wrong on that statement. I see it day in and day out. I see it in my own trading community. I see it on social media. I see it on YouTube. I see it on Twitter. And people are stuck spinning their wheels in the mud, trying to figure out what it is that they're doing wrong, getting mentally destroyed, and at the verge of quitting. If you quit, that's fine. There's someone else that's ready to walk in your place and continue to lose money in your place. And there will be institutions, hedge funds, retail traders who know what the fuck they're doing that'll be there on the other side of the trade to take their money as well. Okay, so this video is going to be about losses being bigger than your wins. And I teach one strategy here on YouTube that I go over constantly, and that's using the 5-minute time frame, the 20 SMA, and taking trades that are changing short-term trends over that 20 SMA or under that 20 SMA. Okay, so if you have a problem with losers being bigger than your winners, it's because you're not holding profits for long enough. You're not holding those runners for long enough, because as soon as you're going green, you're just snatching profits. And then you're sitting back and you're waiting 30 minutes. You're looking at the chart an hour later and completely disgusted with yourself because you would have made 10 times as much money. You would have made double the amount of money. You would have made 5 times the amount of money that you made. That causes you to overtrade and force a setup that's not there. It forces you to get in on that red candle when you were already short in the move, resulting in a little bit of a bounce green candle, stopping you out. And then looking back at the charts 20 minutes later and still continuing to go in your favor. I'm going to give you guys one simple tip. Here's a 20 SMA play that sets up at 6:35 in the morning. If you trade NASDAQ futures, you should have identified this trade. If you've been watching my video, any video that I teach on the 20 SMA short or long scalp, you should have identified this trade at 6:35. If you are in Evolution Traders, you should have identified this trade. Okay, 6:35. Your hard stop, meaning I've got to protect my ass some way or another, is a 1-bar stop. Your entry is below the wick or the body, whichever is greater. Obviously, there's no wick here, so it's the body. 14,881 is your pivot. 6:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is your entry candle. We're not taking it down here. We're not taking it over here. We're not taking it here. We're taking it when we fucking confirm the low of the candle that closes below the 20 SMA. Okay? I'm going to talk slow so this is very clear to everyone. 6:40, you should have entered this trade to the short side. Many of you get into the trade, and as this starts to wick down, you're in profit, you're in profit, you're in profit, and then it starts to wick up. And then it starts to wick up. And you're looking at your P&L. Shit, I was up $400. I was up $100. I was just up $50, and now I'm only up $20. I was up $400. Now I'm only up $300. You sell. You take this baby trade. You sell out here. 5 minutes later, it continues down. 10 minutes later, it continues down. And now you're looking at the trade completely have gotten away from you. While you sold for a $30 win, you could have made $150 down here. So what do? You wait for this candle, it kind of bounces, and then you think that it's going to reverse and you go long. And then you get stopped out and it continues to go down. And you think about the first trade that you had, entry was here on how much money you could have made. So then you short this candle, and then we trade sideways and we bounce. We trade sideways and we bounce. We get over this 5 SMA and you get out of the trade for another loss. Do you see the pattern and do you see the cycle that you're putting yourself through? The entry short this morning on the NQ was below 14,881. How can you hold winners longer? As long as we're trading below the 5 SMA on a 5-minute time frame, you continue to hold the fucking trade. Because if this trade goes down and comes back up and gets over the 5, gets over the 20, you're going to be out anyways, right? If it hits your 1-bar stop max pain, you're going to be out anyways, right? So why do you care about being in profit $80 here on 4 micros or 3 micros or whatever, and giving it all back and stopping out for a loss? Why is this not okay, stopping out for a loss here just because you were in profit $80? And why would entering on this candle at 640 and then completely going against you, stopping you out, be okay of a loss? It's the same thing. You hold the fucking trade as long as we are below the 5 SMA. Excuse my language, but many people out there are not understanding how this game works. You hold your winners as long as technically there's no reason for you to get out of the trade. You cut your losers when technical damage to your entry is done. In this particular case, you would have gotten short at 14,881. You would have held this all the way down until we closed back over. And even if you let it close all the way back over the 5 SMA, it was 14,800 from an entry price of 881. You would have made 80 fucking points on this move. And at the peak, you could have potentially made over 120 points on the move. For me personally, as long as we're trading below the 5 SMA, I want to try to hold and hold and hold. As hard as it is to hold, I want to hold and I want to hold. And if I decide to take profits here on this green candle bounce, guess what? I'm not chasing it again down here. I'm not looking for an entry long here. I'm going to be happy with these profits, and I'm going to give myself and my mind time to digest, time to reanalyze the set myself. I might go get a cup of coffee. I might take a break from the screens. And guess what? I might come back into the market when we've put in these lows. And instead of looking for a short position, I might be looking for a bounce. Why? We put in a low, we bounce, we put in a new low, we're consolidating. No continuation low. So I might be looking for a 20 play here. I might be looking for a 20 play here, using this as my stop or the low of day as my stop. And I'm going to sit in this fucking trade until I'm happy with the profits, or until I close below the 5 SMA. So if I get in on this 20 play here, I'm going to stay in this trade until I close below the 5 SMA, because that's your trailing stop. Look at the long towards the later half of the day. 20 play entry is here. 1 bar max pain stop is here. Look at the green line. This is your 5 SMA. We do not close below the 5 SMA until here. Even with this, you would have captured all of this green move. Start doing things correctly. Start taking accountability for the things you are doing wrong, and start fixing your mistakes. I cannot give you perfect entries and exits. I cannot sit here and spoon feed you trades. No one can do this but yourself. I can teach you, I can show you, I can help guide you, but I cannot trade and click the buttons for you. For example, before I end this video, if you do take this trade short and you sell somewhere in here, I can't help you when the stock is trading down here and you're asking or wondering, should I get in for a short below low of day? I don't know. Your trade entry was here. You should have made money this whole way down. You should be stopped out on the day doing something else, eating breakfast. You know, I don't know. You should, if you took this trade correctly and you sold for profits here, you should not be looking for another trade if you just made 80 points, 50 points, 60 points on the NQ. You are done trading for the day. You're not sitting here looking for a low of day bounce. You're not sitting here looking for a 20 play. You're not sitting here looking for a 20 play. You are done. You are out. You are done till tomorrow. I hope that makes sense, guys. People are having issues out there, but you're not wanting to understand and correct the mistakes that you're doing. So, why are your losers bigger than your winners? Because you're not allowing yourself to get stopped out on technical damage. You're trying to outsmart the market and take profits here, when there's no technical reason for you to get out of the trade until here. So when you get into this trade and it goes down like this, and then it comes back over and closes over the 20 and you get stopped out here, then yes, your losers are going to be much bigger than your winners, because you're never even allowing your winners to win. Hope that makes sense, guys.